Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. I want to first just acknowledge that we do have a number of other speakers and also some folks who are in attendance that are not going to speak, who are partners in our collective effort to keep San Francisco safe, to make San Francisco safer than it's ever been. Obviously, you'll be hearing in a few moments from Supervisor Safai, who's been a fearless champion of this issue, who's been raising the alarm bells about retail crime and property crime for months. We're also going to hear from Assistant Chief Mike Redmond from the San Francisco Police Department. He's here with Lieutenant Ryan. They've been leading the investigation into the incidents that occurred over the weekend and so much other crime that occurs, which sadly doesn't get as much attention as last weekend's incidents did. Without them, we truly would not have a case to prosecute. And so I want to just start by acknowledging both Supervisor Safai's leadership as well as the police department's investigation into these cases and all cases that my office is able to prosecute. In addition, you're going to hear from Kim Taglioni from the San Francisco Labor Council. Sadly, many folks talk about these crimes as either victimless, which is not true, or as crimes that only affect tourists or those wealthy enough to shop at luxury stores. Kim and the folks that she represents, hardworking men, women, brothers, sisters, siblings, understand that these are issues that affect all of us here in San Francisco. In addition, I want to acknowledge David Perry from the Union Square Alliance and Lori Lincoln from SF Travel, folks who work tirelessly to help promote San Francisco, to keep San Francisco being the international destination that it is and has been for so many decades. Look, we all know that we're here because of crimes that occurred in Union Square just a couple days ago. Crimes that are outrageous, that are offensive, and that are unacceptable. We cannot, we will not, and we do not tolerate that kind of behavior in our city. Looting and burglaries at multiple different stores in Union Square, cannabis dispensaries, a Walgreens on Market Street were all hit by groups of organized criminals. Thankfully, the San Francisco Police Department has made arrests in 9 cases, 9 individual suspects so far, and we anticipate more arrests will be forthcoming. We know that these burglaries received the most attention in Union Square, but we also know that areas in the outer Mission and Mid-Market were hit. This is not something that's limited to one neighborhood or one designer store. This is something that affects all of us as San Franciscans. Now, the work involved in investigating these cases is tremendous, hugely time-consuming. And I want to again acknowledge the hard work from San Francisco Police. They've been working around the clock to review video footage, to follow up on every single lead available to them. And I'm sure they will have more to say about the work that has been happening and that will continue to happen. I also want to take a moment and acknowledge that this is not a problem limited to San Francisco. We are seeing similar crimes occur around the Bay Area and across the country. We've heard reports that at least 4 separate Louis Vuitton stores all across the country were hit in a similar fashion. Oakland, Hayward, San Jose, suburbs outside Chicago, and many other places have all been hit just in the last few days. Because of that, we know we need not just local problems, but we need regional, state, and national solutions to address these problems. Every single person here today is representative of an agency or a body of government that is committed to making San Francisco safer, that is committed to ensuring we have accountability when people commit crimes. And it's critical that we all recognize each other's roles and lift each other up when and how possible. It is the responsibility of the San Francisco Police Department to respond to 911 calls, to investigate crimes, to make arrests, and to present those arrests to the District Attorney's Office. It is my office's responsibility, once that is done, to file appropriate criminal charges and to see that those charges are carried through the court system in a way that is just and consistent with our values and our laws. It is the responsibility of the judges in the Superior Court here in San Francisco to make decisions about who is held in custody pending trial and about what sentence is appropriate after a conviction is secured. Now, we're at the very beginning of this process. Criminal cases take often years to work their way through the courts, particularly in the context of COVID-19. And what we can announce today is just the beginning. We are announcing charges that my office filed against these 9 separate individuals based on incidents from the last couple of days, and we will be formally filing those charges with the court today, and we expect that these 9 suspects will be arraigned, meaning their first formal court appearance where we will formally present the charges against them as soon as tomorrow afternoon. The charges we file include everything from looting, grand theft, burglary, possession of stolen property, firearm possession, commercial burglary, and more. 2 of the suspects had firearms in their possession when the police arrested them. And so those individuals are facing felony gun possession charges, in addition to some of the other charges that I mentioned. As I said, their arraignments are expected to be tomorrow afternoon. We are filing detention motions against 2 of these individuals, and we are also asking that the court impose all appropriate restrictions to keep the public safe against every one of them. I know that the San Francisco Police Department's job is ongoing. I know that we are all eagerly awaiting more arrests in these cases, and we stand together united to send a message to anyone who would consider committing these kinds of crimes in San Francisco that it will not be tolerated. You will be arrested, you will be brought to justice, and you will face serious consequences when you commit serious crimes in our city. I want to also be clear about what happened over the weekend. These are not petty thefts. This is not misdemeanor conduct. This is felony conduct. And the charges that we're filing today are felonies. Any discussion about whether or not certain things should be misdemeanors or felonies has nothing to do with these cases. That's a conversation we can save for another day, because all of these charges, all of this conduct that we're seeing is felony conduct, and we are filing felony charges as a result. This is entirely consistent with the approach my office has taken to filing charges throughout my tenure. When we see thefts, burglaries, or other felonious conduct, we file felony charges. In fact, our charging rates in the year 2021 are higher than the office's charging rates were in 2019, and are higher than some other district attorneys in the Bay Area are in this calendar year. I want to be very clear. Our filing rates when it comes to larceny and theft is approximately 72%. In other words, when the police bring us theft cases in 2021, 72% of the time, my office files charges. If you want more information about that, if you want to compare it to prior years or prior administrations, we have a new data dashboard, which I encourage you to look at. You can go back to 2011 and compare charging rates for different charge categories and for different administrations. I also know that as a result of these crimes, many people in San Francisco don't feel safe. And I have a message for those people. We stand here today united in solidarity, and we have your back. We will do whatever it takes to keep San Francisco safe, to ensure that you can go about your life, that you can go shopping, that you can go out into the community, that you can go about all of your daily business in safety and in confidence. Law enforcement will hold people who harm you accountable. I'm committed to doing whatever I can within my office, with my local partners who stand here today, and with partners from around the Bay Area to make sure that we are being proactive in rooting out crime, in preventing crime, and in holding those who commit it accountable. Just earlier today, I had a really uplifting meeting with every elected DA from the Bay Area, their representative, with a representative from the California Attorney General's office. And on that meeting, we shared stories, we compared notes, we identified commonalities in the crimes that we are all seeing in our jurisdictions, and we committed to sharing information and finding concrete, specific ways to work together to prevent these crimes and to do a better job holding those who commit them accountable. We expect to be able to share some more specific details about our collaboration and partnership tomorrow or in the days ahead. We know that for every crime that occurs, we all eagerly await and look forward to police making arrests and my office filing charges and hopefully a San Francisco jury returning a verdict consistent with the facts and the evidence. And we also know that for many victims of crime, all that comes too late. We have to do a more effective job collectively within my office and within this city of identifying and addressing root causes of crime, of being proactive to prevent these kinds of crimes from occurring in the first place. We stand united as a coalition, as a partnership, to develop more effective strategies, not only to hold those who commit crimes accountable, but also to ensure that all those who are on the brink of committing a crime know better, know that deterrence is real, that you will be arrested, you will be held accountable, know that there are other better options out there, and that crimes should not be committed, must not be committed.